article on No Film School, and I want to read a little bit into this. And it puts a good point on there. It's written by Alyssa Miller. This was back in September on there. This is why we need to return to physical media. It is time to break up with your streaming service and return to your first love, physical media. And that's true. Over the past decade, streaming services have run supreme, training consumers to think that they can watch what they want when they want, even if a film or show you want to watch isn't available on one streaming service. It is likely available on another or available to purchase on a digital copy. Unfortunately, streaming services have been showing their teeth for a while, and I'm starting to worry. After HBO Max yanked 68 titles from its streaming service, removing some of the movies made for the streaming service completely from the public access, to return to physical media seems to be more than ever. You don't own digital media even if you buy it, and that's the truth. You know, stuff you buy from Amazon and iTunes and stuff like that, you don't own it. They can pull it, and it has happened. You don't technically own anything if it's on a streaming service like Netflix, Amazon, or iTunes, even if you purchase. I learned it the hard way when I sat down to watch Amelie on Apple TV, which had been purchased for $14.99, and the movie was gone. When I looked for the film on other streaming services, the movie was gone. It was almost like it never existed. When you purchase a film on a streaming service, you are purchasing the rights to watch that video as long as the license is good, which means that if Disney, for example, decides it doesn't want Amazon to sell its movies anymore, the company can have Amazon turn off Disney movies. Theoretically, the service could block access to movies you already purchased. Streaming services don't buy the rights to own something. Programmers sign contracts with streaming services that allow them to show Lord of the Rings or every single episode of The Office for a set amount of time that is unknown to viewers. When that time expires, the contract might be renewed or might not be. The viewer has no power in what stays and what goes, ultimately giving streamers more and more power over what content isn't accessible. I find it to be concerning that since films and TV shows can be just taken away from the culture, this has been an ongoing issue for years. Digital movies that are purchased often disappear from libraries because of licensing fees, or even because of changes in location, since films licenses to a platform to change depending on the country. So why spend money on something you don't actually own, especially when the quality is vastly different? In 2016, the AV enthusiast of WhatHiFi.com compared 4K streaming to 4K Blu-ray and regular Blu-ray. They found that 4K streaming experiences was more in line with watching traditional 1080 Blu-ray, which is true. Which means that Blu-ray has a clear advantage in contrast in color. Ultra HD discs look far better than either. What happens is that the viewer must pay to get 4K content on your streaming service of choice. Also, you can also need internet that can handle it. Netflix and Disney both say that at least 25 megabits per second are needed to stream UHD content, and Amazon needs at least 15 megabits. Backseat directors discovered that two of the cheapest high-speed internet service providers for the most bandwidth in the United States are Verizon and Comcast, coming in at $40 and $35 monthly, respectively. I use Verizon. Even if your streaming service devices are up to speed and your internet is the best possible, there is still information being lost on the way because compression is inevitable. There will always be issues when it comes to the quality of the content when it is on the streaming platform. Streaming services cannot handle the latest and greatest sound technology. Unfortunately, there is no industry standard on how to measure audio for streaming. Netflix has its own audio standard that is vastly different from Hulu's, which requires the sound mix to be based on overall volume of the film. This is one of the gripes I have with the industry, and this is also on YouTube as well. There is no standard on there. 1 minute you're watching something at one volume level, and the next the volume level's through the roof, or you can't hear it. And that goes, and I have a good setup. I have a Sonos speaker system. It's very well made. It's a really good system. It's the older system, but it still gives great sound. When I put out a video on YouTube, all my levels are clipped at 0. I make sure they're at 0. I might bring it down about a -1 or -2, just to balance out for when my voice gets a little louder. You've just watched a segment from our Madman Cafe show every Sunday night at 6 p.m. You can catch it over at Odyssey. Check in the description below for the link that will lead you to our Q2Cast TV site.